So a brief introduction to this particular video. This was a trip that I took back to the UK, and I had it in my mind to go and walk down the Hayling Trail, which starts at Havant station and follows the old Hayling branch down, obviously, to its terminus in Hayling Island. Well, the plan was to walk from Havant to Langstone at least. But anyway, as things turned out, the weather was against me and time as well, maybe a bit of planning perhaps. So I couldn't do that. And in the end, I had to go to Ensworth for some business. So I had to walk round the flour mill, which is actually where I'd gone, place where when I used to work in the UK, we had people who were working for us there, so I'd visited a number of times, and on this occasion it was to see a friend who runs a financial services company. Anyway, so I had to walk around the flour mill, and it was raining, and I thought, oh well, I can't really do what I wanted to do now, but I'll stop off at the little village or hamlet of Warblington, which is nearby and on the way back. So I pulled in there. And then I thought, well, I could at least go to Langstone. So I pulled in at Langstone and it had stopped raining. So I had a quick walk down the that part of the Hayling Billy, the remains of the track. There's not much to see apart from the bridge. So there's that. And finished up by a walk along to the Royal Oak at Langstone, and then down to past the mill ponds along the foreshore. And what else did I do? Oh well, first thing in the morning I'd gone down to Hayling Island to see Colin, my old football team manager, who's in a home there. He's now got Alzheimer's, so I had a nice time with him. I then pulled in at the what was the station, or it might have been the goods shed. It doesn't look like a station building. So it's five different sections, not one particular theme. But I thought it was worth putting it together, and hopefully you'll enjoy watching. It's a lovely place to go and walk, whichever part of it you go to. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and we'll go on and see the rest of the video. Cheerio. The Lesson of the Watermill, second verse. Autumn winds revive no more the leaves that once are shed, and the sickle cannot reap corn once gathered. Flows the ruffled streamlet on, tranquil, deep and still, never gliding back again to the water mill. Truly speaks the proverb old, with a meaning vast, the mill cannot grind with water that is past. The Lesson of the Watermill. Listen to the watermill through the lifelong day, how the clicking of its wheel whiles the hours away. Languidly the autumn wind stirs the forest leaves. From the fields the reapers sing, binding up their sheaves. And a proverb haunts my mind as a spell is cast. The mill cannot grind with water that is past. The lesson of the water mill, third verse. Take the lesson to thyself, true and loving heart. Golden youth is fleeting by, summer hours depart. Learn to make the most of life, lose no happy day. Time will never bring thee back, chance is swept away. Leave no tender word unsaid, love whilst love shall last. The mill cannot grind with water that is past. So we're on the line of the Hayling Billy. This was the branch line that led from Havant station down across Langstone Harbour, the top end of Hayling Island, down through Hayling to a small station, closed. I've got a feeling it might be pre-beaching, but it may well have been part of the beaching cuts. I think what really drove this particular route to be closed was the problems with the swing bridge that we're coming up to now. When I came up here earlier in the day, the tide was very, very high. I'm not sure if it's a spring tide or something like that, and you couldn't actually see any of the supporting pillars, but they're all now well prominent, so we're going to get up close. And the other thing that I spotted, which I don't expect you'll be able to see at the other end, but it's a nice touch and I don't recall it being there before, is a restored signal. That was indicated from the station at the other end, which I visited. I'm not sure if I took any video. Video camera seems to be playing up, so I'm just doing this on the phone, and I apologise for any sound. You may not even be able to hear what I'm saying here. This is a lovely part of the world. Just on the left you'll see the road bridge going over, and then that leads into the little hamlet perhaps of Langstone, where there is the most wonderful pub, the Royal Oak, on the quayside, and it sits beside a long disused windmill and a water mill ponds, and then you can follow the trail along to Warblington Castle, which actually appeared in the rock opera Tommy. I don't know if I can put a picture in, maybe I can. I didn't know that until I started looking it up the other day. It came up in conversation with Paul from West Country Wanderings. But anyway, we're coming close now. I don't think I've ever been here before in my life. There you go. There's something new for us. You can see perhaps the remains of the stanchions or the supports that were once here, or maybe that's something else. I'm going to stop to take a couple of stills. Maybe get a bit closer up to the bridges if I can. Well, here's a find. I wasn't expecting to see anything rail related apart from the bridge, but what's that? Wow, looks rail related to me. As looking back on the embankment I've just walked down, in a bit of a sorry state. So this is what remains of the old Puffin Billy bridge and swing bridge Heading on into Hayling Island, Portsmouth in the background there. This is Langstone Harbour, Portsdown Hill there, Dead Man's Wood, Fort Pembroke that we've been to before. I'm heading off back and see if the pub's open. There used to be a siding here. These rocks or stones that you can see there are probably the end of the siding that once was. Fourth verse. Work while yet the daylight shines, man of strength and will. Never does the streamlet glide useless by the mill. Wait not until tomorrow's sun beams upon thy way. All that thou canst call thine own lies in thy grasp today. Power and intellect and health may not always last. The mill cannot grind with water that is past. So on the bridge is the Ship Inn, which is a fuller's pub. I'm sure it's very good, but we're not going to go there. We're going to walk round the corner. Whoop. Where do I need to go? I need to go through the through here, and there's a nice little coastal path to walk along, which will take us down to the Royal Oak, which I described as being the most pubby pub in Hampshire, or maybe further apart. So the issue that you've got here is that high tides, or more or less all of the spring tides, in fact if you look closely you'll find seaweed on the ground on the path here. The tide's so high that it will flood out this area. When we come closer to the pub you'll see that they've put in well, it's especially what would you call it, a gate, something to block the entrance of the water as much as you can. Sandbags here. Sometimes people park on the hard ground here and then get surprised when the tides come all the way up. So you can see the Royal Oak pub. By this, immediate to the side of it is the watermill, and then just to the right of it is the windmill, and without sails now, of course. I believe there was a third mill which is further back. This whole area is full of you know, mill ponds and what have you. I've just been up to the next village, which is Ensworth, and had a look at the old flour mill there, and there's lots of inlets and outlets and gates and all kinds of stuff going on, obviously all disused. Anyway, off to the Royal Oak, have a quick pint, and then I'm going to head off home. As you can see here, see the height of the tide and the seaweed up there. And this house here, number 15, has got its sluice gates on to block the inlet, as have some of the other buildings, houses along the road. This one, you can see it here again. This would have all been covered high tide, midday today. Anyway, let's switch off for the moment. It's the Royal Oak with its typical king in the oak tree. See how well protected the pub is. Lesson of the Watermill, 5th verse. Oh, the wasted hours of life that has drifted by. Oh, the good that might have been lost without a sigh. Love that we once might have saved by a single word. Thoughts conceived but never penned, perished unheard. Take the proverb to thine heart. Take and hold it fast. The mill cannot grind with water that is past.